Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible stories of heroism you'll ever hear from Indian military history. We're talking about Major Somnath Sharma, a man whose actions, in the face of absolutely impossible odds, became the stuff of legend. Now, listen to this. These were his last words to his headquarters. Just let that sink in for a second. That one sentence, it tells you everything, right? It's about his absolutely unshakable spirit. He was facing this massive enemy force, and he didn't even blink. So, what makes a person like that? What forges someone who can make a stand against all odds? To really get what he did on the battlefield, we've got to go back a bit and look at the man behind the medal. Okay, so here you can see Major Sharma himself, and right next to him, that's the crest of his unit, the Kumaon Regiment. For a guy like him, the army wasn't just a job. No way. It was who he was. It was basically a family legacy. I mean, it's almost like he was destined for this. His dad was a major general, and get this, his grandfather used to tell him these epic stories of bravery from the Mahabharata. So this idea of duty, of courage, it wasn't just something he learned, It was baked into his DNA from the very beginning. And sure enough, by 1942, he joins what you could call the family business. He's commissioned into the army. And that deep, deep sense of service, well, it was about to face the ultimate test. The setting for this incredible story? The autumn of 1947, in the stunningly beautiful but also incredibly volatile region of Kashmir. Just look at this for a second. This is the Kashmir Valley. So serene, so beautiful, an absolutely picturesque landscape. This is the calm right before the storm, the peace just before everything was about to change forever. But yeah, that peace, it was about to be completely shattered. This beautiful, almost perfect landscape was about to become the stage for one of the most unbelievable acts of defiance in modern history. So what was the threat? It was something called Operation Gulmarg. This was a secret plan by Pakistan to take over the Kashmir Valley. They were using these highly trained guerrilla forces, guys who knew the mountains and valleys like the back of their hand. The goal? Simple: annexation. And things moved fast, really fast. The operation kicks off in August. By October, you've got about 1,000 invaders already inside Kashmir, causing chaos. Which brings us right to November 3rd. That's when Major Sharma's company is rushed into Srinagar. Their job? To stop the bleeding, and fast. And this is where it all goes down. The Battle of Badgam. It's just a small, pretty ordinary village, but it was about to become the site of a truly epic showdown. Their mission couldn't have been clearer. Protect the Srinagar airport at all costs. Because think about it. If that airport fell, India would lose its only way to fly troops and supplies into the valley. Everything would be cut off. To put it bluntly, losing the airport meant losing Kashmir. The stakes were that high. And the odds? Just listen to this. Major Sharma and his 90 men going up against around 500 well-armed invaders. Let that sink in. 500 versus 90. They weren't just outnumbered. It was an impossible situation. Just try to imagine being there. The air is just filled with gunfire, screams, total chaos. But people who were there said that through all that noise, you could hear Major Sharma's voice, constant, clear, rallying his men, pushing them to fight for every single inch. His leadership was just next level. And get this, he's doing all of this with one arm in a plaster cast from an old injury. But did that slow him down? Not a chance. He was running from post to post, right in the thick of the firefight, telling his men where to shoot, even filling their magazines with ammo himself. That kind of courage, man, it's just contagious. And this incredible display of leadership, this sheer grit, it would lead to the ultimate sacrifice. But in that moment, it would also forge India's very first great military hero. And then, right in the middle of the fighting, as he's directing his soldiers near the front line, a mortar shell hits a pile of ammunition right next to him. He was killed instantly. But his death was not the end of the story. Far from it. His men, seeing what he did, were so inspired by his courage that they just refused to give up. They held that position for hours, fighting like lions, and completely stopped the enemy cold. They saved the airport, and by doing that, they literally helped turn the tide of the entire war. For that incredible act of bravery, for his absolute gallantry in the face of the enemy, Major Sharma was posthumously awarded the Param Veer Chakra. That's India's highest military honor for valor.
And here's the kicker. What makes this so historic? He wasn't just another recipient. He was the very first person to ever receive the Param Veer Chakra. His actions that day literally set the standard for heroism for generations to come.
So, what's the legacy of a sacrifice like that? Well, it's a legacy of courage that really is forever alive. His name isn't just something people remember. It's more than that. It's, as they say, etched in the golden pages of India's military history. His story has become this beacon of inspiration for so many. And his memory is still honored in a very real way right now. If you go to the National War Memorial in Delhi, you'll see his name inscribed on the honor wall, a permanent reminder, making sure his sacrifice is never, ever forgotten. You know, the story of Major Somnath Sharma is such a powerful reminder of the real price of freedom. And it kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? In our own lives, in the world we live in now, what does courage like that even mean today?